rewriting perceptions of reality and unveiling the conspiracies of the modern mirror world. Have you ever wondered why things in life aren't quite as they seem? Why we celebrate distorted entertainments to such an extreme? Or why an industrial technology media complex has become the dominant political and economic force of governance? Why our way of life seems morally corrupt and our choices upside down? This is the inversion, the model of reality that our brains have been programmed to accept and which also compels us to participate in and sustain. In my new book, The Inversion, I unpick the complexities of our manipulated reality, making readers aware of the nature and mechanisms of the inverted mirror world that so many people have become lost within. The inversion is for those readers who are ready to open their mind in order to perceive a greater reality. Greetings. And it comes to that time again when an author must accept the birth of a new child, a new book, and with the pleasure and the satisfaction of birthing a new child, a new book, comes with it the responsibility of parenthood. And that responsibility is not always lightly accepted. And what I mean by that is I have to promote it. And I think other authors will perhaps understand when I say promotion is not something that I'm keen on doing. But I would like to share the news and to talk about the book and to make a couple of videos to explain the book, to at least make it available. So please allow me this moment to introduce the book. It's called The Inversion. The subtitle, How We Have Been Tricked into Perceiving a False Reality. So we can have what we see in the world around us, which is slightly bent, twisted, and what may be a reflection of what may be greater truths. Now, I wrote this book in the second half of 2021 and the first half of 2022. And so it's been actually about 16 months since I finished it in preparation for the publication, as is usual for publishers' catalogues. So this is published by a small independent UK publisher called Aeon Books, the first time that I'm working with them, and I hope it will be a mutually beneficial relationship. So this book is in two parts. The first part is what I call the reversal. And I talk about some of the goings on of that, what has been going through human history in the way that perceptual realities are established. Chapter 1 is called Hidden Hands, Unknown Landscapes. And then chapter 2, The Inversion, aka The Great Deception. And chapter 3, Mirror Worlds, Fragmented Landscapes and High Weirdness. So I talk about some of the history about how social cultural conditions have been established and how this change around to create narratives of how humanity sees the world has been a long-going historical project. And I talk about Gnosticism and how some of the Gnostic teachings talked about this kind of inversion of how reality is perceived, or it's made to be received and perceived in a certain way by humanity. And chapter 4, Normalized Madness, the Upside Down World, about how now we are, I think many people are beginning to understand that things are not right, they're not as they should be. However, a lot of this upside downness is becoming normalized, and we have to break out of this false normalcy. And chapter 5 is called Unidentified Spectres, Spiritual Control Mechanisms as Trauma. Even some spiritual pathways are what I call false exits, that people are giving enough kind of feeling or taste of being in contact with a spiritual path, but actually it's just a teaser, it's just a tasting menu that appeases people and kind of let off steam and relax, which actually then encourages them to continue in the system. It's like a kind of revolving door. You move out of an office building or a hotel and you go in the door and you think you're going through the exit, but actually the revolving door brings you back in, but you feel renewed. And I think sometimes these so-called spiritual pursuits are more, I've been utilized or hijacked as control mechanisms that keep people appeased to continuing in society. And then chapter 6, I talk about in thy body do I dwell, how the physical body has been a target now for, kind of targeting people through the embodiment of the body, and how we need to recognize that both in terms of technology and health and other issues. And then part 2 is called the machinic impulse, where I have 3 chapters on what I call the unreal machine, talking about the struggle for human authenticity, the rise of machinic consciousness, and the rise of a extended reality in the material domain, virtual worlds, etc., metaprogramming. And I talk about the rise of certain forces. I look at the work of, in this book, Philip K. Dick, John C. Lilly, and especially Rudolf Steiner in the second part. And in chapter 10, called Stagnative Evolvement, the influence of entropic forces, I talk very much in terms of Rudolf Steiner and the idea of materialistic arid forces are trying to kind of hijack the human evolutionary developmental path. And chapter 11, Incarnations, or the hybrid self, I talk about how these hybrid realities or potential futures are coming in to kind of steer people into a certain evolutionary trajectory, which is perhaps not the pure organic human path necessary. And the final one, chapter 12, Fusions or Futures, I talk about the potential for human developmental capacity in a constructive, positive way for the future. So what I'm trying to really say is I'm just trying to wake people up and to make them consider certain themes, certain aspects, because unless we are aware of something, we cannot consider it. And the problem is that it's not about the level of intelligence or intellect. This is not a social or a status position. It's not about being clever, or as my friend Setsuna said, it's not wise to be clever. We don't need to be clever, we need to be aware. And when we are aware, we have the tools then to make choices for ourselves. So in this book, The Inversion, How We Have Been Tricked into Perceiving a False Reality, I'm trying to offer a tool and my own considerations and my own perspectives into helping to share a certain path of awareness. And if that reaches anybody, then I'll be glad for that, and so be it. So thanks for bearing with me, and I hope you like me look forward to the adolescence and the growing up of a new child and see how this ventures into the world. So stay aware, stay healthy, stay sane, stay grounded. Until next time, bye.